Well, after looking at my analytics, ladies and gentlemen, I am a little bit bummed today, but I have this to say. In the end, we will win. In the end, good will prevail over evil. And those of you that are clapping for evil right now, you will be the first ones to pay the price, unfortunately. So get on the right side of history, ladies and gentlemen. I'm talking to those of you that want socialism, that want communism, that want censorship. Get on the right side of history because you will not win. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it seems like we've been taken over, or at least free speech has been taken over by a technocracy. So I'm going to try to stay out of trouble today. So I really thank you for your support. If you want to help out, just give this video a thumbs up, share it, and if you can let it play all the way through, that really helps, I think. Before I start, I want to say thank you very much to the sponsor of this video, which is Genesis Gold Group. And before we get started with the news, people seem to really like when I show the current price of gold and silver, at least when I'm recording the video. So right now, let's see if we can stop it. Gold is trading right now at $2,271, and last night I believe it hit an all-time high of like $22.95 or something like that. So it's getting pretty close to hitting that 2300 level, which I believe will then become support after it closes above the 2300 level, I would say for like a week or so. Silver is trading at $26.27, and for those of you that are interested in platinum and palladium, we're looking at $937.80 for platinum and $1,029 for palladium. On platinum and palladium, I believe that in the future here they're going to do the switcheroo. There used to be a time where platinum was worth or was valued at a lot more nominally than palladium, and then they did the switcheroo, and now as you can see, palladium and platinum are pretty close to each other. And I think there's going to come a time here soon where platinum is going to take over again palladium. I'm not a financial advisor, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just giving you what I think about the market and the metals. We are just one step away from an apocalyptic war in the Middle East. This is something that I think people that do not live in the area don't understand. Just because it's not shifting here, meaning having a kinetic war here in the Western nations where we live, doesn't mean that it will not affect us greatly. And I believe that if we do enter into a kinetic war, even if it is in the Middle East, that it will be very devastating to our standard of living here. Meaning what? Meaning that this is a leading indicator. This has the probabilities of more of happening than not happening. So get prepared with all those things that you normally depend on to sustain your standard of living, just in case they become unavailable because of this. Think of all of the energy that comes from those areas, and think of how long it would take for us to revamp our energy markets here in the United States once we figure out that, hey, we're not going to be getting all that oil and stuff from the Middle East, and you can't necessarily rely on energy that comes from the sun when hail takes out a huge solar farm. I believe it's in Texas. It says here that hailstorms in Damon, Texas on 3/24, so March 24 of this year, destroys thousands of acres of solar farms. So ladies and gentlemen, if we rely on energy to come from outside of our borders because we're not producing our own, and we really can't rely on solar energy and or wind energy, why? Because of weather factors and because of things like this happening, then what are we going to do as far as being able to sustain our standard of living? If you don't get it now, you're not going to have it when you really need it. I'm not a financial advisor, but the folks at Genesis Gold Group specialize in helping those who want to diversify their excess wealth by converting their fiat currency retirement plans into a plan that is backed by real money. So if you're in a position where you are wondering what you can do in order to diversify or insulate your wealth against what I like to call the inferno of inflation, give Genesis Gold Group a call, and they can provide you with the information that you need in order to make an educated decision. I've quite often said that inflation only has one way to go, not only because of the monetary factor, but also because of outside factors that we cannot control. Baltimore's ports closure threatens inflation and bigger deficits. The port of Baltimore has been brought to a standstill thanks to the collapse of the Francis Scott Key Bridge, creating risks to the U.S. economy of additional inflation, diminished productive capacity, and larger government deficits, which means what? Bottom line is going to be on the backs of the American people. I believe that we are already in a recession, at least for the middle class and the poorer class. However, the upper class, once they stop spending, then you know we're really in a recession. And some people may ask, well, AP, how can you say that we're in a recession? We haven't been told that. Well, a recession, ladies and gentlemen, is a lagging indicator, which means that by the time that we are told by the officials, right, that we are in a recession, we've already been in one for like 6 months straight. High-end outerwear companies slashing around 155 corporate jobs. Canada Goose is shrinking its white-collar headcount. The high-end outerwear company on Tuesday revealed that about 17% of its corporate workers will lose their jobs in the cuts. The company has about 915 roles, so the layoffs are going to total to about 155 jobs. What does this mean? That these, expensive clothing or outerwear clothing companies are laying off. It means that business is not that great. And who is their customer base? Well, probably more than likely people that make more money, that are in the higher echelons of income. Right? So what does that mean, ladies and gentlemen? That means that everyone below them has already stopped spending the way that they normally spend. So when they tell you that everything is just fine, continue to prepare, because you never know when it is you that's going to get the pink slip. And ask yourselves a question. If you have a full pantry with a year's supply of food in it, and you do get that pink slip, would your life be easier knowing that you don't have to spend that income on food, and you can still be able to pay your rent and etc. until you get another job? Or would it be more difficult if you didn't have any food put away? At the very minimum, even if you don't want to label yourself a prepper, you should have a stock of food put away for emergencies. Americans are draining their retirement accounts, racking up debt due to high inflation. But I thought that inflation was transitory. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think not. They've got a new name for it. Now it's chronic inflation, and it hinders millions of Americans' abilities to prepare for their financial future. Heck, I don't think that most people are even thinking about their financial futures. They're just thinking about the here and now, because they have to figure out a way to feed their family from day to day. Nearly 7 in 10 respondents said that they have not contributed as much to their savings due to higher prices for everyday goods, while 51% of Americans said they are racking up more credit card debt in order to pay just for necessities. Americans are tapped out. And you know what, ladies and gentlemen? This is just what I think. That is the plan. To put the average American in a place where they're going to have to beg those same people that created this high inflationary crisis to help them. And then what comes along? CBDCs. Just wait and see. And another sign that Americans are broke. This Pawn Star says desperate customers increasingly focus on weekly, not monthly needs, meaning that they're living week to week, meaning that they're living paycheck to paycheck, meaning that they're 1 or maybe 2 paychecks away from being homeless.
Lately, in the last 6 months, we have more customers coming in that are desperate in need of money. They need to put food on their table, gas in their tank, and a roof over their heads. So we see a lot more customers coming in now for loans.
Experts warn that nation's food supply threatened by, well, you're going to have to read it for yourselves. It's pretty sad, really, that I have to do this, but it is what it is. There is ample evidence that under this policy, dangerous disease infections like chickenpox, mumps, measles, and TB that mostly had been eliminated from America are coming in. But now the Epoch Times reports that these people coming in could threaten the nation's food supply. And the report noted that about 9 million unfettered encounters since 2021 has given no opportunity for any real screening. It was Dr. Michael Vickers, a veterinarian for 50 years and member of the Texas Animal Health Commission, who said that the TB cases in the dairy cattle were just the start, and it's only a matter of time before U.S. agriculture experiences a fresh disaster on a grand scale, the report explained. He continues to say these people are destroying our country and our food supply is going to be a real critical issue. He confirmed in an interview with The Times. He also said that in recent years, thousands of cattle in Texas have been slaughtered after being infected with TB, and not just TB, but drug-resistant TB that cannot be fixed pretty much, and they have to put them down. And ladies and gentlemen, I thought that I would finish it off with a feel-good story. Indiana high school student gets custom American flag wrap for pickup truck.
Cameron Blasek couldn't believe his eyes. It was
That's
the same
awesome.
truck, but completely transformed.
And I still can't believe it that happened in the first place.
When we first reported this story, the truck was blue and it was about a fight to keep this flag. But now the flag is here to stay and the truck is making an even bolder statement.
Well, after looking at my analytics, ladies and gentlemen, I am a little bit bummed today, but I have this to say. In the end, we will win. In the end, good will prevail over evil. And those of you that are clapping for evil right now, you will be the first ones to pay the price, unfortunately. So get on the right side of history, ladies and gentlemen. I'm talking to those of you that want socialism, that want communism, that want censorship. Get on the right side of history because you will not win. It will be good that wins. It does every single time. God bless every one of you. God bless America. I'm Alaska Prepper. I'm out.